Good evening. We're starting with breaking news out of Central Phoenix, where a little boy is dead after being hit by a car.
So this is a live look at the scene. This is 36th Street in McDowell. We're kind of panning over to the side. It looks like this may have been the car involved. It's a truck, it appears, like a small truck. Phoenix police say they responded to this area about 8 p.m. They rushed the boy to the hospital, but he didn't make it. He died of his injuries. The driver did stay there at the scene. So you can see there's major roadways shut down in the area. The intersection is shut down, part of the road is shut down, and it likely will be for several hours while investigators look into this scene. So we'll keep you updated on our website, 12news.com.
Tonight, a 12 News exclusive. We're learning more about an interaction Phoenix police had with 10-year-old Rebekah Baptiste and her family 4 months before she died. Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight for 12 News at 10. I'm Mark Curtis.
I'm Troy Hayden. Caribe's off tonight. This visit from police happened in April, shortly before Rebekah's father and his girlfriend moved the whole family to rural Apache County. And that's where officials say Rebekah was tortured and eventually killed.
12 News journalist Bianca Bono is with us in studio. And Bianca, we know there were numerous reports before this happened, before she died. What happened on this occasion?
Well, Rebekah had been absent from school for several days, which concerned staff there. When they showed up to her home, she had a black eye. But a police report reviewed by 12 News shows no photographs were taken of Rebekah's injuries, and the case was closed. A Phoenix police report viewed by 12 News detailing what police saw on April 10th when they showed up here where 10-year-old Rebekah Baptiste was living. She and her 2 brothers had been absent from school in Power College Prep.
At day 4, one of her teachers noticed, and that is not surprising given what she was witnessing in class with Rebekah every single day.
So the school's assistant principal and a Phoenix police school resource officer showed up to the home. The report says upon arrival, when questioned about the absences, Rebekah's father's girlfriend, Anicia Woods, cited several different reasons, including illness, allergies, sore throat, coughing, an upcoming funeral, and an unexpected car radiator needing repair prior to departing for the funeral. The officer then asked to see the children. After a short delay, the kids came to the door. All 3 appeared to be in good spirits, smiling and stating they were kinda sick. But Rebekah had a black eye. The officer was told she was at a birthday party 5 days earlier and was hit by a ball, resulting in the injury. The officer who wrote the report said, while there was no indication the injury was intentional or the result of abuse, it did give pause due to her missing the past 4 days of school. The report also notes that police were aware of the school staff's general concerns for the children's welfare. The report says school employees made prior DCS calls reference the family for general concerns surrounding discipline techniques, including running laps around the apartment barefoot and planks. Despite all of that information, the report says that no pictures of Rebekah's injury were taken that day. Police did contact DCS, where an employee stated they would consider the incident an information report. The officer concluding the report by writing, "There is no indication of abuse, and I was provided a plausible explanation for the injury." A supplemental report also viewed by 12 News showed another Phoenix police employee was assigned to the case, running a background check on Richard Baptiste and Anicia Woods. The report shows multiple prior DCS and Phoenix police interactions with the family, where each report was closed out. Before closing out this April report, the officer wrote, "At this time, there is insufficient evidence substantiating criminal child abuse or criminal child neglect." In late July, officials say Rebekah was murdered by her father and his girlfriend after she was tortured and abused.
Trust that we do look back and look at how we did things in the past.
Prior to 12 News reviewing this report, Phoenix's new chief of police, Matt Giordano, was asked about this case.
We always look at ways we could have done things differently and look for any kind of mistakes we might have made. I'm not saying we did, but we always look at that. We're very reflective.
And we know there is body camera footage of this incident. We have requested that from the Phoenix Police Department. We will update you when we receive it. Mark?
Bianca, it's so easy to point fingers at DCS, and yet Phoenix police on numerous occasions were called out there. They had reports from the school. They had reports from other places. This wasn't the first interaction. Wouldn't taking a photograph be sort of standard operating procedure?
Yeah, Phoenix police said they had 5 interactions in total involving Rebekah Baptiste, her siblings, or her family. But yes, regarding the photograph, that was the first question I had after reading this report. I have asked the Phoenix Police Department why photos weren't taken that day. So far, I have not gotten an answer, but obviously I will report back as soon as I do get one.
It's just, you can just see this trail of mistakes that were made. It's so sad.
So many red flags.
Bianca, thanks. Tonight, a major ruling from a federal appeals court. A judge is temporarily blocking a deal that would have transferred more than 2,200 acres of Oak Flat into the Tano National Forest to a private mining company. The San Carlos Apache tribe and conservation groups have been fighting this project, which would carve a crater 2 miles wide and 1,000 feet deep to create a copper mine. The site is sacred and spiritual for tribal members, and tonight's ruling means that the deal is on hold while the court considers the case.
Now to an Ahwatukee neighborhood where mountains of trash and debris fill a backyard. It's the source of a very strong smell. You look back there, you can see all that debris back there. Neighbors say they've been dealing with this for years, but then the situation took a terrible turn last month. The home belonged to a woman in her late 60s. She apparently had some mental health issues. She died in this backyard on July 22nd. Her body stayed out there, decomposing in 110-degree heat for a week and a half before it was discovered. A couple we spoke to today, they say the human remains mixed with all that trash baking in the sun created a horrible smell and also raised some serious health concerns. Now they're calling on local officials to take action.
It's been raining. We don't really want that running into the ground and now going downstream into our soil. You know, people have gardens with vegetables and dogs and kids, and to have those type of bloodborne pathogens seeping into the soil and in the air is a toxic environment for people to live in.
So you can see there is an estate recovery company cleaning up that home today, hoping to finish it within the next 2 weeks.
New at 10, it's considered one of the biggest scandals in state history. Reckless rehabs targeting vulnerable Native Americans, all to get billions of dollars from the state's Medicaid system. We've been tracking this story for years, and now we've learned what changes have been made to stop the fraud and abuse. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly is live at the state capitol, where lawmakers questioned leadership at Access, where the funds come from. Chase?
Mark, that's right. Leaders with Access spoke in front of the Senate Health and Human Services Committee about the changes they made to combat that fraud. They also talked about some of the firsthand experiences they've seen investigating these homes.
We've witnessed people living in closets.
Access Inspector General Vanessa Templeman telling senators what her teams have seen at fraudulent sober living homes.
Back doors being barred, services not being provided.
These reckless rehabs in some cases using white vans like this to pick up Native Americans struggling with addiction, promising them booze and drugs for signing up for Arizona's American Indian Health Program. Also, these fraudulent providers can get Medicaid money without providing proper treatment. In some cases, it led to patients dying.
The fraud we have seen rip through the behavioral health landscape is staggering.
This went on for years, costing Arizona taxpayers $2.8 billion, according to lawmakers. Now Marcus Johnson, the deputy director for Access, addressed changes they've made to prevent the problem, saying it led to serving 11,000 patients, giving 4,000 temporary housing, with 129 patients asking if they can be sent back to their home state.
This fraud was so rampant that people were actually being recruited here from out of state.
They've also created a missing person location system. If someone is reported missing to police, officers can now contact Access to see if they're in its system. Access also introduced a new audit force to look into facilities, requires providers to fill out additional documentation and verification processes, as well as tracking data to make sure certain codes aren't being abused. Johnson says these changes are working, showing that since 2023, reimbursement amounts have gone down significantly, saving close to $1 billion. Enrollment in the American Indian Health Program also dropped significantly from these changes, because many enrollees were not Native American. While the state has suspended more than 300 licenses, charged and convicted some providers, Nikki Forty, an addiction and rehab specialist who is very familiar with how Access works, believes these changes should have already been in place.
A lot of providers I talk to say should have been caught a long time ago.
Forty also told me it's going to take a very long time to rebuild the trust with actual providers, saying those actual providers are going to have to prioritize transparency and accountability moving forward. We're live in Phoenix tonight. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Chase, thank you.